The first time we tried it, didn't work. The next two, we paid a decent amount of money to do it. They kind of took our money and run with it. And there's a lot of scammers out there to say they can help you.
We were probably doing around 30 to 35K in revenue at that point. And then within 8 months to a year with you guys, we were into the 50K revenue mark.
Self-employed mindset is like, I got to pay the bills this month. I'm going to go sell some stuff and then do all the work so I can get the money. That's a really tough existence to know that like each month you're kind of having to reset like that.
Setting those strong goals of like, where do we want to be like looking forward in the future? I think before we were just like running it to run it. And now we're like, no, we're running this to like be the best so that people are actually approaching us so that we can sell it someday. That's our really big goal.
Welcome to the Barbell Business Podcast, brought to you by Big Little Gyms. This is the show where we will deconstruct the tactics, strategies, and mindsets of successful gym owners and fitness entrepreneurs. Whether you're looking to scale your business, strengthen your community, or break through plateaus, we're here to bring you actionable insights and inspiration to take your gym to the moon. This episode is brought to you by Big Little Gyms. Big Little Gyms gives gym owners the tools, systems, and guidance to scale smarter, generate more leads, and build thriving communities. Also, you can take your gym to the moon. If you want to get more members, make them worth more, and keep them longer, go to biglittlegyms.com and book your discovery call today. This episode is also brought to you by Chalk It Pro. Chalk It Pro is the ultimate gym management platform that streamlines programming, tracking, reporting, and member engagement so you can focus on coaching and being the mayor of your gym. We have an exclusive offer for you. Use coupon code BLG 2 months, all one word, BLG 2 months, at chalkitpro.com to get the standard 14-day trial plus an additional 2 months free. Go to chalkitpro.com to get started. Our guests today are Jared and Kelly McGriff Culver, the powerhouse husband and wife duo behind Iron Flag Fitness in Westmont, Illinois. Iron Flag Fitness isn't just a gym. It's a mission-driven business that's about community, impact, and opportunity. They run a 501c3 charity foundation that brings high-level training to athletes who wouldn't otherwise have access to it and have signed 2 major youth organization partnerships. Jared and Kelly are also one of the original Big Little Gyms 50K Club gyms, building their gym to over 50K a month in revenue, plus, and are now pushing towards $1 million gym. Today, we are talking about what it's like to build a business with your spouse, the challenges and rewards of expanding to multiple locations, and the financial mindset shifts that help them scale. Jared and Kelly, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Will.
How's it going?
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you guys here. It's always a fun time when we hang out, at the BLG events in person. It's always a party, and we always have a good time. And this should be an easy one today. We don't even have to script it. We're just going to have a good time chatting, and excited to get to know you guys.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with what inspired you to start Iron Flag Fitness. What was the impetus? What was the idea? Whose idea was it? I guess I got to know first.
Yeah, so actually I started Iron Flag Fitness. So we've been open for 11 years now. And at the time when I just decided to start Iron Flag, it was me and a different business partner. I actually didn't even really know Jared yet. So I was a single mom. I had 2 kids, and I was kind of like in this corporate fitness world that I didn't love. I had been in youth performance training for a couple years. And so I was training really high level athletes, and going from that into like the corporate setting was not my cup of tea. So I found CrossFit, and I loved how adults could still do athletic things. And I could kind of mix the best of both worlds without working like crazy late hours with the youth program. So yeah, just being a single mom, me and another partner at the time decided we loved CrossFit, and we were just going to dive into the deep end and try to keep our corporate jobs and open a CrossFit gym at the same time. So that's kind of how it all began.
That's awesome. And you said something that's important is you didn't know Jared when you started the gym.
Yeah, nope, didn't know Jared at all.
So tell us how this went. Were we dipping the pen in the company ink, Kelly?
I feel like this story always like is funny.
We got to
Jared
know.
Jared and I met. Jared was coaching one of my kids at an after-school program, and we always tell this story. Actually, I feel like Jared tells it better than me. So maybe I should let him tell it.
Make sure we note that in the podcast that she gave me credit. So I was training our oldest, Quinn, who's now in college. So I was running a sports performance program then, and I was an ex-pro athlete. Still current at the time. I was trying to get back in and looking for ways to get myself in better shape. And so I was Googling. I don't know if Google's back then. Googling different things to kind of help me, not just lift weights, but like the cardio side of things. And CrossFit kept popping up. And so, I was talking about it with a colleague, a coworker of mine, when in walks Kelly. Kelly used to never give me the time of day back then. She actually used to talk to one of my coworkers a lot and be good friends with him. And I was just an afterthought. And so she literally came up to me and was like, "Are you talking about CrossFit?"
No, I was walking by the front desk and all of a sudden I hear the word CrossFit and I'm like, oh, like business opportunity, like
Yeah.
first sale. We had just opened the gym like a week prior.
Yeah, so she's been on for a little bit, not too long. And she told me to come try out a class. Ironically, there was no class at the time. She told me to come in. I met her former partner at that time. Ironically, I knew him, or he knew of me because of family ties and everything else. And my first CrossFit workout was all body weight. If you don't know me, I'm just over 6 feet tall, and I was like 285 pounds at the time. The body weight movements is not my thing. So burpees and pull-ups and push-ups, not my thing. Give me a barbell. So I threw up. But more importantly, I was a little heartbroken because Kelly wasn't there, and so she wasn't there. So that evening, fast forward a couple hours, she walks to the door trying to apologize, but she doesn't know that her partner threw her on a bus, was like, "She's never here this time. You don't even have a class this time." And so it was kind of funny. But I did go back the next day to kind of get my ego back. Us men have egos.
don't say.
The workout was perfect for me. It was kettlebell swings, tire flips, and like a short run. And I killed it. And I impressed Kelly, clearly, because we're still here. And so things kind of worked out awesome since then with us. So we've been inseparable ever since.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny because I was like, this guy doesn't really want to do CrossFit. He's just trying to get with me. So I was like, I got to give him a little test ahead of time.
I was going to say there may have been some motive there.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
of
Yeah.
motive. When he said there a moment ago, he's like, a couple hours later, it's like, oh, so you hung around until she showed up.
Yeah, he like went home that night and his dad was like, so are you gonna go back? And he's like, no, I'm not going back, like
I was too
forget
upset.
her. And then the next morning he shows back up. So yeah, so it's pretty funny. But yeah, so then after that, Jared started coming to the gym. We had just opened, and from there we just started kind of talking and dating. So I guess CrossFit kind of brought us together. But he actually went away and played professional football for like 9 months, long distance. And then when he came back, that's kind of when we started working together from there. So yeah.
And running a business, as a married couple, I mean, obviously, fast forward, you guys got married, and dating went well, and and goal achieved, right?
Yes.
And you guys decided to stay in business together, and that has its own set of unique challenges. I know because I'm in business with my wife. We all know Erin, and we always have our conversations in jest as to what that's like. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How do you, Jared's got to tame himself today, right? How do you divide roles, responsibilities, and decision making? How do you guys go about that? Because you guys do a very good, we joke about it, but you guys manage it very, very well.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely something that we've had to learn over
Yes.
time. I
Yes.
mean, at first it kind of became a power struggle for sure, because I started the gym and then he's coming in and we're both pretty like strong-willed people.
Stubborn. We'll say
Stubborn
very
people.
stubborn.
So I feel like the balance, we've just worked that out a lot over time. And the nice thing about how we've structured our gym is that in a sense, I kind of run the adult side, and then Jared has created this awesome youth performance side. So he kind of runs that. And then we try to make big business decisions together. So that's what's really helped us, like just being able to communicate with each other. And I think trust has been a big thing. Like we got to trust each other to make the right decision and be able to communicate that well.
Yeah.
So-
I think, honestly, truly, COVID was like a huge success factor for us. Because when we started dating, we worked out in the middle of the day together. It was just us two, working out for a couple hours. And then we kind of, it was like misery love company. We worked out and we pushed each other hard. Then COVID hit. And that kind of brought us back to our center of being able to work out together in the middle of the day. And it was just us in the gym, and we have a pretty decent sized gym. And, it really kind of was great for us to kind of get that reconnection. And then, truthfully, we found, Kelly found Big Little Gyms, and, everything you posted on social media, back then was it was singing so much truth to her, where she saw the gym going and understanding that. And so it was for me, it was a big leap of faith, because it was I didn't really know what we wanted to do, but I knew where we wanted to go. And she knew right away from the first video you posted for Big Little Gyms, and she was like, I want to do it, I want to do it, I want to do it. And so that's when we signed up for that first call. And her conviction really kind of like took off and went. And then seeing you and Aaron
Yeah,
and how that
that's what I was
dynamic
saying.
like really led us to be like, okay, we can do this and we can be very successful. And we have mentors as yourself and Aaron to really help us get there. And so even if you get yourself, we've had private conversations about like, hey, it's a little bit of a challenge, but keeping the main goal at the end the same and understanding that. And even if, Kelly makes a decision where I don't see it, I trust that her end goal is my end goal. So she might be, on a different part of the street than me, but like I know that her end goal is my end goal, and I got to keep on trusting her that she's gonna make those decisions how she sees fit. That's gonna get us there. Same with me, because like I've made probably a few purchases that she was like, that's dumb, and then all of a sudden, a few months down the road, she's like, oh, like that came in handy, and she sees the full picture coming around.
Yeah, I think a lot of times I describe it as like we both want to win the game, but sometimes we're reading from different like playbooks. But as long as we know that our end goal is like there and that we trust each other to get there, and that's a big thing. And then, like Jared said, just like surrounding ourselves with other people that are also either like husband and wife and just like doing these type of things. Like it's always good to have those mentors that you can like look up to and be like, okay, this does work. Like I can bounce things off of them. But yeah, so that, I mean, definitely like trust, communication, and just surrounding yourself with the right people.
I 100% agree. That's like a super important thing for us too. And me and Aaron go on our date nights. It's like we usually try to find other couples to go hang out with us. Like we're like, not always. Sometimes we just want to have our space, but occasionally we're like, yeah, we just want to hang around other people that have like a similar set of values as to how their relationship works. And it's usually other entrepreneurial couples, or at least a similar dynamic where like, maybe one of the two of them are maybe leading the charge on the business end, but the other one's in a very strong support role, or maybe they're both in the business full on. For you guys, like the division of responsibilities, that's the thing that stood out to me that you said there that I want to stand on for a minute is that like, you guys work in the same company, but you kind of work in different departments, if you will, which gives you guys your space to not be in each other's business all the time. Cause like you said, the trust thing, cause you're going to come together on things still, but that, especially for us guys, like the control thing can be an issue sometimes. And we almost gotta be like, okay, I'm just gonna put the blinders on for a minute. And that's like how we have to trust, right? Like we just gotta trust that, cause sometimes one of the two of you's brain might be thinking a little faster about something and steps ahead, and like you said, sometimes it unfolds later down the road. And you're like, okay, I'm glad I didn't pick that bone. I didn't pick that battle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picking your battles.
Yeah.
That's
100%.
like a definite big thing. Like, and I think also really being clear on like your mission. Like, I think you guys really do that well. Like, if you're clear on your mission, then, and you really take the time to like set forth what your values are, then you can make good decisions because you do trust that person.
Yeah. 100%. That's something I try to always keep it. I mean, you have to do it. Both parties have to be doing that while they're like in it, like you have to keep that in sight for yourself. Right? What's the end goal? And am I, if I'm gonna pick this battle, like, is it with the intention that benefits the whole, everybody?
Yeah.
If we're gonna figure this out and work through this, like we have to remember it's not about me winning. It's about us, right? And if it's just me if I check in with that and I'm like, I'm just trying to be right now, like, okay, I'm gonna go for a walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go for a walk. Walk
Well, it
solve a
is
lot of
hard
problems.
too because like we're with each other all the time. And it's not like, I mean, we see each other a lot.
Yeah.
So it's not like we have this space. So sometimes it's, I guess, really good to like Jared coaches football and has that thing, right? And like I also coach something. So it's good to have some separation too. And we're not just constantly talking business.
What were some unexpected lessons you guys have learned about working together as a couple? Obviously, what we just shared was probably one of them, right? The learning how to be introspective a little bit, right? Is probably one of them.
Is a big one. I think like choosing, like not really choosing coaches, but like choosing people who we like let close into this world. Like we made a pretty tough decision. We made what we thought was a good decision turned out to be not a great decision in our facility, and we thought it could have ruined our gym. In retrospect, we brought someone on within our inner circle. They left abruptly, took some members, and we thought it could have ended. And so that really like helped us understand even more like not just a mission, but like who we want to be inner circle wise, and be very, very slow with that process, even if we do let them in. And so it's made us kind of push and grind even harder on things where like, yeah, we probably don't need anyone else a part of this, but like it really kind of put in perspective of like who we let in even closer on that like the I guess the business side of things. Like coaches, we've had coaches come and go, and like sometimes it sucks, but it's a life, the way of things. But like the personal, more business side of things, we've been very, very like slow with like who we let in, because we have been burned, and so we want to make sure if we do bring someone in, that they are basically aligned with us and everything. And it's almost like bringing in a sibling who we might argue with them on something, but like we're still good in lockstep and we're still good friends with it.
And I don't know that we'll ever really bring somebody on as a partner again. Like, I mean, definitely like business people that want to invest or like stuff like that, we'll have those people. But as far as like partnerships, like I think that we've learned that we're just like really good and solid with each other. And that's kind of, we're good with that.
100%. Yeah, you already have your partnership and your alignment and your vision, and it's already really, really tough for even like one person to partner with another person when you're married, because you're unified. Like they say in all the in the Bible, right? Like you're really just one. Like you operate as one. You come together. Yeah, you have your minor differences on things, you work them out, but you're really making a unified decision as one person. Whereas like when you bring a whole other outside person in, now you gotta, there does become like other motives and things like that, and you never know what that person's trying to achieve and what their inner drive is for doing it, outside of just the money, right? Like people want like things like recognition, or if they don't feel recognized enough, even though it's not your job to give it, and this is business and it's hard, they're expecting you to give it, and then there's points of contention and emotions, and it can get muddy quick.
Yeah. I think another thing. Yeah, I think another thing that we've really learned is like to be okay with like listening to what the other person like is having issues with ourselves, like that conflict, like being okay with like being honest with each other. Because I think a lot of times like maybe the first 5 years of our business, it was like we would tiptoe around and like it'd be kind of like backhanded or what, we weren't fully like just there to be honest with each other. And now like we're 10 years into our marriage, and we just have like figured out the way to be like honest but also respectful of one another, and also like take that criticism and like be okay with it,
Be coachable.
Yes.
100%. Well, yeah, that passive aggressive thing, right? It kind of, I think, it creeps into a lot of young marriages. I mean, shoot, even a lot of, probably it's not even young marriages. Most unhealthy marriages is probably just a passive aggressive with each other all the time, and no one wants to make the difficult choice to just address the thing, right? And that seems to be something I know you guys share is, you guys will just approach it, right? That's something that me and Erin, more often me than her. She's better about, I wouldn't say she gives the silent treatment, but I can tell, right? Like I can tell there's something there, and she's just got to, and she'll tell me like, no, I just got to process this. Just, leave me alone about it. And I'll be like, no, I want to, this is bothering you. I want to sort it out. Right. And it's like, okay, we can choose to make it hard for a very short period of time and sort it out and get on the other side of this, or it's going to be water under the bridge for the next like 3 months. Right.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
exactly.
like that, and like most married couples don't want to do that work, and that's probably why there's so many unhealthy marriages out there, right? The healthy ones are going to make a choice to, okay, let's get on the other side of this with the intention of it being like, this is well intended, right? Like it's with the end vision in mind that we both win, and it's not just about me being right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
because we're, as making decisions not only for us but also for like so many other people like in this that are bought into this community. We're making decisions for our coaches and our members and all these, so it's not just the pressure of us anymore, it's also these like people that we're trying to like create such a income for, a happy space for. So when mom and dad are fighting, it kind of brings down like the whole group.
Never good.
People get sensitive. It gets awkward quick. So closing out the married couple stuff, and it'll probably, I'm sure this conversation, it's part of the whole thing, but what's a piece of advice you would give to other couples thinking about going into business together or starting a gym together, or maybe even some of the gym owners out there that are in business with their spouses?
I think I'll say for me, it's just like outlining, just as you would normally like in a business, like here's what needs to happen, here's what needs to get done, here's like, the people that are, if you're in charge of marketing, these are your things. If you're in charge of sales, just making sure that there's like clear cut things that each person is in charge of, because the conflict happens when there's not those like dividing lines and you don't know what your responsibilities are.
I would say find hobbies outside of it. Like I think our happiest in the gym is when I'm in football season, because like we actually have like I leave for a decent amount of time. She's either running things by herself or whatever it is, but when we come back together, it's like we actually like have missed each other. And like she gets very, very sweet during the fall because like it's a high stressful time for me. And she'll send me tweets like, I miss you, like house practice and like things like that where it's like, oh, like this would life would be like if we would have didn't work together. So like finding a hobby where it's, hey, one night a week, not all 7, but one night a week, you know, go play basketball or go shoot darts or whatever it is with friends. And if you know, whatever she likes to do, like finding that one night a week, because it's like that separation like is very, very key because we are together. Like I wake up before her and I come to the gym and she comes to the gym, like, and then we're together all day until we go home. And that car ride home is like a 7-minute ride by myself, and then I see her again. So it's like, you know, we're always together and always doing things. And for us, it's like it's been our daily routine since day one. But like if you don't have that since day one, like, and you're trying to make it happen, like find hobbies quick, fast, and hurry to keep like the little bit of separation, because then they're gonna feel like you're not like either on top of them or feel like all those little minor things that arise.
Yeah. I could definitely agree with that. And I don't know if that's a guy thing or not. Like definitely as I've matured and gotten older, I've found myself like, okay, I need other hobbies besides my work and like what I do at home with my wife. You know what I mean? Like I need to have like a separate thing that's like my thing that does maybe take me away. Or mountain biking. I do every Sunday morning, me and my buddy Chris, we go mountain biking. That's become my thing the last few years. And it's like we go and do that and I'm gone for a few hours. And then, you know, occasionally I do a big race every year. And then there's other things too, but like, or even if it's going to a business conference, right? Just to get away. You know, like that's something she's like, no, first off, she's just like, go. She's like pushing me out the door, you know? And it's like, you know, like, I think it's like, and I say that jokingly, it's not like she's trying to get rid of me. I think definitely think the absence makes the heart grow fonder, and she knows that. But I think she knows after all these years that that's a really healthy thing for us, to your guys' point of like, you need to have some like planned absence there, you know, built in. Because you need to miss each other a little bit, right? Because you see each other every day, especially working in the gym together. Like you see each other every day, and you know, I'm sure you guys have had it where it's like, Jared, I'm sure you've had this where you're like, you know, like you don't, she, you know, it's like banner blindness because you're seeing her every day. She does, you know, like, but then like when you have missed each other a little bit, you look across the gym and you're like, well, damn, okay, just you know, like you know, you see her again, and the light that you want to see her, right? Which is not like, you know, it's just easy when you're in the routine.
Usually when I'm squatting.
Yeah. Like, Jared, you're staring too much. Stop.
Yeah. Like I have my own little corner, and I'll sit there and like I enjoy when she's coaching. Like when she's coaching members, I'm sitting there and she'll look at me, she'll be like, what? I'm like, nothing.
Right.
Like, you're staring at me. I know. Like I'm just I'm amazed, babe. I'm amazed. Yeah. So I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to have that, right? You need to be reminded for yourself, right? So it's the same. It's good in so many ways, right? All the small little qualities too that we all take for granted in our partner that we get to experience every day. Like sometimes they just kind of like, you get banner blindness for those things when you see them every day. So being away for a minute and coming back and just getting to notice all those little things, our brain starts to pick up on them again. So yeah, I personally, I take a trip every quarter. I go to like a business thing, or, you know, I like to race my car. So I'll be like, okay, we're planning a trip. I'm going to go to Vegas and to this racetrack. We're going to go for the weekend with the guys. And it's like, part of it is for me, but part of it also is like, we've been home and around each other for like 6 months straight. We both probably need this, not to get away from the person, but to restore some of what we just talked about, you know?
Yeah.
So super cool. Good stuff. Well, I want to jump into talking about moving from 1 to 2 locations, right? Because, you know, a couple of years ago, I don't know if it was 3 or 4 years ago or 2 years ago, I don't know when it was you guys decided to do it, but you had the one location, and Iron Flag, the original location in Westmont, I believe, has been doing really, really well. And then at one point you're like, okay, we want to do more. So at what point did you guys realize one location wasn't enough?
I don't know that we realized it wasn't enough, but like the opportunity kind of fell into our lap per se.
There's one. We want to do more. So we didn't know what more was. Like a bigger location to do more, second location, whatever. We wanted to do more. And so we were kind of like slowly like looking for more. Either like a empty place to start something new or potentially buy something. And then that's when the second location kind of like came to us with almost a can't miss opportunity. We should have missed on it, but it was a can't miss opportunity, but we should have missed on it. And then we'll kind of like go through that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we knew we wanted more.
Yeah, and no, it's on that, like we just said there. 'Cause I remember when we originally sat down and you guys had so let's jump on a call. We were considering this and looking at it, and like you're right, the opportunity was like there really wasn't much downside from a financial perspective, right? Like you weren't really going to lose financially. Obviously, the biggest risk was the time and attention it would require, right? And I didn't want to, my job here isn't to like tell your story for you. It's for you guys to tell your story. So you kind of alluded to a little bit, right? You should have missed on that one, right? So I
Yeah.
think there's a big lesson there because it's actually a great takeaway because it's really hard to do a second one, right? It can be pretty tricky. Quite often when gym owners ask me to do it, I tell them like, no. Now in your situation, like it was probably worth the gamble because financially there was no risk, but there was the time and attention component, which has an effect on the primary location, right? So can you guys speak to a little bit about, you don't have to tell the whole, you can tell as much or little as you want of it, but I guess the bigger takeaway of what people should look for when they do this.
Yeah, I think that so when we took over the second location, it was another CrossFit gym. And it was something that was going under and needed to just be saved. So we took over the lease. We were able to buy the equipment very low. And so, it was easy. It had like 60 members. So we're like, okay, this can't be bad. Like we can turn this thing around, we're pretty good at building a community. I think the mistakes that we made and what we should have been looking for is like, why was this business struggling kind of thing? Like, and what kind of relationship did this business have within the community? Because those type of things we found out really mattered. Like the owner in that previous location had burned a lot of bridges. So it was like an uphill battle for us to try to get new members in the door. They were still associating with us with what the old was. Yeah.
A lot of PTSD.
Yeah. And then the other thing was location. It was super hidden away in this warehouse space off like a frontage road. And it's just not highly visible. And not that you need to be highly visible, but it needs to be easy for people to get to. And so that's something that I think we wish we would have taken into account as well. It's just like kind of doing further digging on like demographics, why it's failing, location, like things like that. To be honest, I think also like trusting our gut a little bit. I think like from my end, I didn't really want to own another CrossFit gym. I wanted to do like more of the athletic performance stuff that we've been doing. I thought I saw like that as more of the moneymaker kind of go, but it just happened to be such a good opportunity. So I think biggest lessons is just making sure that we do our due diligence, even though it seems like easy money or something easy to start.
Right.
Easy is not always better. And one of the things that I took away really from what you told us, Will, I think like in a couple of our conversations as we started exploring, maybe we don't want this, was sometimes it's better to go deeper instead of wider. And so that was totally true for us. Like just the time and what it was going to take to rebuild that relationship was just not worth it in the long run.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, spot on. Like it was a bigger hassle than anything else. And I mean, to be honest, like, probably was the main thing that brought us on a brink at one point of like possible divorce. Like it was rough. It was really, really rough. And it was some things that like, we really didn't know as we tried to rehab the image of everything. We gave it 18 months of like hard work effort. Thankfully we were able to kind of get out of there, with a little bit of scrapes and bruises, not a whole lot. But now looking at that facility now, it's doing decently, doing well. We felt like we were kind of the middle person before you get married. Like you have that great relationship and it ends badly, and then you date that one person where it's like, we don't know. And then you find the one, like we felt like that for all their members now. So we're happy for them. We were able to find someone who was in the community and wanted to spend the time for it. But that was a huge thing. Like the financial side was like a no brainer, but like the back end stuff where unless you're in the community, you don't really know it, really, really hurt us. And so we tell everyone like, do a deep dive there first and try it and, get the spark notes of the community of like why this isn't doing great. If there's an nature, because then, it'll be very, very clear.
Yeah.
Because Kelly's intuition was spot on. And I was one, like, I was like, oh, we can do it. And I was like, I'm so sorry, babe. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. That's how you learn though.
Yeah.
Business isn't a linear path. There's going to be like, between two peaks, there's a valley, right? Like, and you gotta go down through the valley, and like, no one picks you up on a helicopter at the top of the one peak to take you to the next one. You gotta get to stepping, like, you know what I mean? You gotta walk down that hill, and you get down in the valley. You're like, man, it's hot down here. You know what I mean? Like, it's a few dead bodies laying around. Like this, and then you're gonna be there a little too long. And like you said, like if I say it now, right? Like you just said, you could say that now. You wouldn't have said it at the time, but like, yeah, like the thought of like, man, I want to quit all this shit, like including our relationship because this is so hard. Like that's what business can be sometimes. You got to walk through the you got to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, if you will, between those two peaks to get yourself, and then you start coming out, right? You start coming back out of it, right? And it's all because, and I'm borrowing a little bit of this from a guy named Myron Golden. He's like one of my favorite guys to follow on the internet. And he was telling this story, but he's like, the mountain you were sitting on was, there's two peaks, right? There's Mount Just Enough, right? You're on Mount Just, this is just enough. This is comfortable right here. It's good. I'm comfortable, but there's that peak over there. And it looks like I want to be on that peak there. That's Mount more than enough. I want to have more than, but like I said, the only way to get over there is to go through to start walking down. No one takes you on a helicopter ride over there, right? You got to walk through it. So that's part of why we're telling the story, right? And those are the lessons learned.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to how you've refocused your efforts, right? Because you said it exactly. I was going to say it. I was going to say like the deeper versus wider analogy, right? So many people think the only way to grow a business is to just stamp out more copies of the same thing. When sometimes the best way to grow a business is to really mine that well as deep as you can, right? Like if you find a vein of gold, you don't just say, okay, we found gold. Let's go drill another hole over there. You're like, let's see how deep this hole goes, right? Like you just keep drilling. So let's talk about that a little bit with the 501c3 and the nonprofit and the mission and all that good stuff. Fill us in. Tell us about the charity and the 501c3 and how you guys got that going.
Yeah, I think so. I think that what selling that second location did with us was just give us really a lot of clarity on like, we have a foundation. We have so many things going in this gym. Like we have athletic performance, we have CrossFit, we have nutrition, and then we have this foundation. Jared's the whole brain behind the foundation. It's something that he's wanted to do, and I'll let him talk about it. But I think that we flipped it and we were like, okay, we don't need a second location. We just need to build what we have going already. Like we need the time and effort to build these things. And the foundation's the big thing for us. So yeah,
so it's the Iron Flag Athlete Foundation, and we have 4 pillars. The first pillar is performance, and so we help the youth and men and women who can't provide or who doesn't have the ability to provide fitness for themselves. We scholarship them to be able to come and train. We have awesome members who have poured into the foundation where they've paid for a membership for a year or half a year for any person who's looking and needing to kind of get their fitness and their health and fitness on track. The second pillar is academics. So we've paid for tutors and academic support when it comes to like ACT and SAT prep for a bunch of our athletes who are looking to go to college. Now, thankfully, like those standardized tests aren't really as major anymore, so we're more on the tutoring side now. And the third pillar that we certainly have is networking. So our college athletes that we have, even some of our members who are looking for other jobs, we find them either internships or different network opportunities to kind of put them in places to either level up on what they're trying to do or find jobs. The great thing that the athletes that have gone through our program, training wise, we've set them up with awesome internships while they're in school, with partnerships we have, within our gym or people we know. And they've graduated with job offers that were, way above, the starting job offer of a 23, 24-year-old, to the point where some of these kids are making more than their parents, first out of. And that's awesome for us because we kind of helped set that marker in a way. And the fourth pillar is empowerment. And that was Kelly's. She wanted to hang around that one. I love it. It's empowering women and minorities, to not just in health and wellness, but also to kind of push forward on what you want to sit there and do and really don't take no for an answer. So we've held awesome seminars. We held a self-defense seminar that we put on, and was it 50 women and children?
Yeah.
50 women and children came to that, and so they're raving about it, and we're looking to kind of kick off another one here in April to do that one. So it's 4 pillars that we feel near and dear to us that really give back to community. We've been doing a lot of it on our own anyway before we got the 1C3 really stamped on us to kind of say, hey, like let's get going. And it's been a true blessing for us to kind of have that stamp, but also understand that there is a little bit of benefit when it comes to different financial things that we can do, not just for us but also for our community at whole.
Yeah, and I think so Jared coming from like a single parent household, like I think that's what the idea was behind it. Is like there's so many kids. We don't have to live in the city to find kids in need. Like there's so many kids out here in the suburbs specifically that we worked with that need help doing this, and they have the athletic potential, but maybe they don't have like the mentorship or the guidance to get them there. And then we also have like a juvenile probation program where we have kids that are on probation that come in and work out with their probation officers, and we have that class for them. So that kind of also fits into like the picture of what we're trying to do with our found of just like really reaching that at risk at-risk youth, or the athletes that don't have any mentorship or additional help. And then also the single moms out there that are really just struggling with their own health and wellness. And so, yeah, that was all.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's a super impactful thing. I'm also from a single, we talked about this from a single mother as well. And I had, people come in and out of my life, men come in and out of my life, in those early years. And I'm grateful, I have a guy I did call my dad, but it wasn't really his job. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't my birth father, and, he wasn't there for a long time, but he was there during some formidable years, helping to form some core memories. But again, it wasn't really his job. And he was also very much like a blue collar working guy who, like, it wasn't really, again, like, he wasn't that bought in. So, I always think about that for myself. Like, there's this, I think we always want to fill that void for ourselves, right? For other people. So, even now at 41, I still want to reach back to youth or younger versions of myself out there and be like, how can I help fill that void? Which is a super important thing, because I think maybe it's Jordan Peterson that talks about it, but like the tale of two fathers, I don't know where he got it from. I'm sure it's written someplace else, but he philosophized on it. And that, like, you have like the guy you call dad, which hopefully he's everything you need. Sometimes that guy can be the two dads. There's the meeting of the mentor, if you will, which is the other dad. Because even if you are the guy, I mean, I'm sure you have sons, Jared, right? Even though you could know everything about everything, and everybody else can say in front of them, your dad's the best at this in the world. But as soon as you try to give them advice, what do they say? Like,
nope, I'm good.
Yeah, you don't know shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So there needs to be another man in their life. So even if it's not youth that are from, I'm sure it's not just, ones that are from single mothers like us, but also there's a lot of absent fathers out there. There's a huge need and a never ending need for that mentorship and guidance, and to be that kind of second father to your community. Right.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like with his background too, just like playing, professional sports, like kids just like latch on to him. And it's really cool to watch these kids like just like hang on his every word. But also like, it's cool to watch them grow and see them change. Like, especially with our juvenile probation program, like we've had a lot of kids that have been with us the last year, and now they're trying out for sports in their school, or they're trying new things, or, they're not getting in trouble anymore. And it's like, that's just such a cool thing to see, that know you're making an impact, but they're also like, I don't know, just have become a part of our community.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's huge. I think that's one of the things, like, young males can be, and I'm sure it's not just males, a good percentage of them are, right? Because there isn't good, strong male leadership out there. It's been a thing over the last decade that like our male youth is kind of the society can crumble around them, right? Because they have the power to lift it up and be leaders, or it can crumble because there's no pillars there like you provided, your 4 pillars that you're providing for them, right? So it's a needed mission, absolutely, which is huge. So let's speak to like the because I'm sure everybody's curious. I mean, there's obviously the mission component, which is always the reason why you should start these things. But I know that there's big benefit. You mentioned it, kind of there are financial and business benefits to also being on that side. Being that we're a business podcast, it's always cool to kind of give those gym owners and may also have another mission-based cause to, maybe this might give them more ammo to pursue similar things, whatever their calling is. How has having the nonprofit alongside your gym benefited the business side?
So on our business side, I think it's a lot more like the partnerships we're able to get and work with. So like every year we do a big toy drive, and so the Toys for Tots comes in, and that kind of highlights that side of things when it comes to the give back part of it, and then the toys that come in to be able to give out to other kids. One big one we use constantly is our partnership with First Form. They always are donating different stuff to us to give the kids, and so it's awesome for us on that side of things. And so as we keep on diving deeper into it more, one, I'm my ego as a male, it was always tough for me to ask for assistance and help, but having someone who took me by the reins for this 501c3 and said, look, like, you're here not for you, you're here for everyone else, and so you need to start asking, talking, and bringing this up, because a lot of people are going to want to help and look to help, even just look to donate. And so we did that this past year. We have our most gym sponsors this year, and we use our foundation for it, and those are huge components, even to the point we've had members, the most members reach out saying, hey, like, we saw your email, we read it, and like, hockey, a part of this cause because we love what you guys do. And so that's really kind of turned around and understanding the benefits, of the tax exempt for those people, but also for other businesses as well too.
Yeah, we have a corporate sponsorship. I feel like in years past, it's always been okay as far as trying to get people to like put up their signs and like be a part of the community. But this year, being able to tell them, hey, this is a tax write-off, like your money is going to impact this foundation and it's going to give back to these kids. So I feel like we've definitely been able to grow and raise more money on that side of things. And then, yeah, I think it's just like making people aware. Oh, we've had a couple members that are like, I have $2,000 I want to do with, I want to give this money. Like, what can I do with it? So, I mean, just having people reach out to us more because they know it. So then you get those they get those tax write-off and you get to use that money. And then you're also being able to pay yourselves now for work that, you weren't doing before.
Yeah. Well, there's a dual benefit there, right? Like, it's like, the people in your, CrossFit gyms or like group training gyms in general, generally not your clients aren't the, people that are looking for a discount membership that are just barely getting by. They're people that are probably mostly middle to upper class, right? Or at least have some discretionary income beyond what they're paying for the membership, right? And a lot of those people that have done well for themselves, they want to find ways to give back, but they also, because they're smart financially, are like, well, how can where's there a tax benefit too, right? If I can scratch 2 itches, that's good, right? I think about that. Like, how can I give to a cause? I'm not just going to go light my money on fire with somebody. I'm going to be like, okay, well, who's got a structure where it's like, okay, cool. If I'm going to donate this money, there's a tax benefit too, right? I mean, the ultra wealthy use it, right? There's some real financial benefits to being able to do that. So being a 501c3, like, you can do that, right? Like, they can, because they're donating to your charity, you guys can take in that income under the 501c3, and then they can actually go and write that off as a donation, right? And then that's for you, that's operating capital inside the 501c3, which, like, it's a nonprofit, so the company can't show profit, but it does have operating costs. And that includes like you guys operating the business are part of that operating cost. People think nonprofits mean the people that own them can't take a reasonable paycheck. I think they have some rules. I think, like, you can't, like, the business is making $1 billion. You can't go pay yourself $1 billion.
Right.
It's got to be fair and reasonable, and it has to, but there has, every business, including a nonprofit, has operating costs. And if you guys weren't doing those things, you'd be paying someone to do those things, right? So, you can also, generate income for yourselves. That shouldn't be the reason why anybody does this, right? It's solely for that. It shouldn't be a hack. But if you are doing it for all the right reasons, then you guys get to benefit as well, which is awesome. And then has it helped? I mean, do you see it also? Does it help the for-profit side of your company as well, the gym itself, knowing that this is attached? Does this build more trust in the community? Are they more aligned with you? Do you feel like it has a stronger pull because people know that you're more deeply rooted in the local community?
Yeah, I think that that's something that we're working on really, like, with our marketing side of things, is trying to, like, push it out and build the awareness of it. Because when we do mention it, when people find out about it, they definitely are like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I want to be a part of this mission. Like, it makes them feel more a part. Like, we're not just a community, but we're also, like, changing lives outside of just fitness, right? So, like, I definitely think it makes a difference. We're going to have a local magazine write up and, like, things like that, where we're just trying to get, like, some more PR out into the community of it. But yeah, I definitely think it helps.
There's a lot of great media and networking opportunities through philanthropy, right? Like, I'm sure you guys do it, but for anybody listening, if you ever go to, like, a banquet, like a charitable banquet, it's usually mostly really wealthy people that attend these things, and they're just shelling out cash for the foundation. Because again, like, because it's a nonprofit, they're like, cool, I can donate money to this thing, but I get to be part of the gala and the show of it and dress up with my fancy friends and all that stuff, right? It's got to pull towards those type of people, and also they want to showcase other people in the philanthropic community, right? Like, you're more likely to get invited by someone who, owns a local, media company, because you have this philanthropic pull, because it for them, it also looks good, right? Like, and they may also generally be buying into your cause, but for them, it also looks good to be like, okay, if we gotta fill time on air, who are we gonna put on? Well, this Jared and Kelly, they're great. We can also support their cause, and we look good for it too, right? So then you guys win, because you get showcased, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really big benefits there. It's amazing, super cool. So just to kind of cap off that, like, for any owners that are thinking about starting a nonprofit or a community program similar, what advice would you guys give?
I mean, my biggest advice is find something that's really near and dear to your heart, because it's like you're gonna do the more extra for it. Like, we're already business owners, we're already doing a lot, but anytime we're doing something for the foundation, like, we're not tired. Like, it's,
Yeah.
we Toys for Tots is a 2-day thing, and probably 30.
It takes a lot of work.
It takes a lot. But, like, we're never really tired until it ends, and it's like, okay, we're exhausted. Then you look back, it's like, okay, we helped like 50 families, 100 families, like, helped so many people, and then you get that gratitude for it. And we've been doing it for so long already to the point where, like, when we start getting the actual benefits for, like, it was just icing on the cake. Like, we already had cake built and we had minimal things on top of the cake. And now, hey, like, here's a little bit and here's a little bit for the time and effort you put in. And now it's just putting the icing on the cake for us, where, like, it's the gratitude towards it, where, we've already put the time in, we've already, put the seeds in the ground and watered it and seen some of the plants grow. Now can we make it a big oak tree? And that's our whole goal. And that's kind of like our, 5-10 year mission with our foundation, is like, can we, not only become, Illinois known, but like in the region and hopefully nationally known, to the point where we're doing a lot of things where people know us, and we can show up and start getting more and more recognition for that.
Somebody that you pay somebody professionally to like help you set it up.
Yes.
Don't just do it yourself, because we tried to like kind of do that, like go the cheap route this to start, and it didn't work. So I feel like just finding somebody professionally, give them some money, and I mean, pay whatever you need to get it set up the right way.
Hold on.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, reach out to Will, to reach out to me. I will give you the lady who helped us. We are on our, so this is our fourth opportunity, our fourth person. Well, the first time we tried it, didn't work.
Yeah.
The next two, we paid a decent amount of money to do it. They kind of took our money and run with it. And there's a lot of scammers out there to say they can help you. But the lady, and she's an awesome blessing out there, named Danielle Baker. She came into our gym literally, like, when we're just talking about things. She works with not-for-profits for her actual day job. And she heard what we were doing, and she like freaking yanked me aside and got so mad at me. And she was like, let me help you. And she was a savior for us and made us official and took care of everything. And she took a small fee. And so, like, if you listen to this, reach out to Will, get a hold of me or Kelly. We will put you in contact with Danielle, and she will take care of you, because there's a lot of people out there who will take advantage of you, and that's a sad part. That's a sad thing.
Yeah. They will. And plus, you can get in some trouble with nonprofits too if you do them wrong and they're not filed right. Like, they audit those things pretty heavily. And the last thing you want as a small business owner, if you're doing everything else right, is to have the IRS show up at your door because they think you're playing some sort of game, right? Like,
Right.
if you do it all right, like, it's done properly, like, you're going to probably have no trouble, paying a few extra bucks at the beginning to get some of these things done right. It's kind of like same with like setting up a trust, right? If you're going to set up like a living trust or something for your kids to hand stuff down, it's like, that's not something, like you want to try to wing. It's not like when you start your company, you can go on InkFile and spend $50 and now you have a corporation. It's like, that's a little bit, we're talking about things that allow you to sidestep some of the tax things normal companies have to pay. The government doesn't take that lightly, because taxes is how they get their revenue. They want to make sure you're doing it right? So do it right. And even better, what they should do is, we'll have the next Barbell Business Mastermind coming up here. We're getting ready to announce dates in probably May. And we're going to get Jared and Kelly out there, because you guys have been at most all of them. And you guys have spoken at some of them too. And I absolutely, if you guys will honor us with getting up on stage and talking more about this, people coming to that event can connect with you guys, hear more about it from you guys, learn more about it from you guys, and you can give them those connections as well. So just a little, plug for that for anybody wanting to figure out how they can get closer to people like Jared and Kelly who are doing it, would be at the Barbell Business Mastermind, our live event, which will be coming up in May. So, but yeah, awesome. And real quick before we switch gears again, something I wanted to kind of go back to, because I know this is near and dear to Jared, the athletic performance side of things, right? I'm both the nonprofit and the for-profit side, just gym stuff, right? You guys have the Iron Flag Fitness, which is, originally CrossFit gym, right? And that's still that's a big core part of your gym. But then the athletic performance side, it operates separately. It's not like, oh, this is CrossFit, some version of CrossFit.
It's not CrossFit Kids.
It's a full-on, like, if your kid wants to play, if you want to get your kid into D1 football someday, you go see Jared, and from 6 years old up, he'll make.
We'll get him going.
Yeah.
We'll get him going.
There's no guarantees, because D1 is like the top 1% of 1%. But like, this is what the path looks like. You go see Jared, and he knows the path because he's done it, right?
Yes. So I'm in year 17 of being a performance coach. I was blessed to get my start like when I was freshman year in college. My strength coach saw something in me that I wanted to do this, and so I was working part-time for them while I was playing football and going to school. But our athletic performance program in 2025 is taking off, because it's been more of a focus for me this year. Anything else, and having my right hand man, aka Kelly, doing a lot of things that I'm not good at, like the back end stuff. Well, you know this, I'm not great at genetics at all whatsoever. And Kelly crushes it. And so she's really, really kind of taken it along herself to really kind of help promote that. Our kids, we train, you know, we have 7 years old all the way to professional athletes. I'm blessed to have a few professional guys that train in different sports, football, basketball, baseball right now, like there. And we train for all sports. And I've trained some jockey they ride horses. If you don't know what jockey means, crew, they roll the boats, and like rugby, football, you know, baseball, basketball, all those sports. But we take it on ourselves where, you know, we really, really hone in on those skills and kind of make kids faster, make them stronger. But more importantly, I think what separates, you know, our athletic performance program for anyone else is we take the mental side into it, and we challenge kids mentally, and we push them past points, and some kids get very, very upset and get frustrated with us. But all of a sudden, 2 weeks down the road, what we tried to have them do, they're now doing it. And you see them light up like Christmas morning, where they're happy, they're successful, they're smiling, and then they go to a sport and they're different types of kids, and they're more fearless than ever. And that's our whole goal. Like I tell parents, like we're probably not going to make your kid a Division I athlete. Like that's the 1% of 1%. And kids coming in, we're going to know pretty fast, like, oh, this kid's different. But like we tell kids, like, there's so many colleges out there that if you want to play college sports, we will help you find a place. We will help you find a place to play. But like you have to have, you know, and it's funny, we're telling our middle son this last night. You have to have a nobody's mentality. Like you're a nobody. And what do nobodies do when on the team? They do all the grunt work, they bust their tail, and they're doing everything right in the correct way. And so if you have the nobody mentality and you're pretty good, I was like, you're going to make it pretty far. Because me, like, I'm not the biggest football player ever, nowhere near. I wasn't the fastest because that guy just got drafted to the Chiefs this past year. And I'm probably not the smartest, but the one thing that I hung my head on was you're never going to outwork me. And so my work ethic got me to Division I, got me to knocking on doors at NFL and other professional teams. And now I bring it on to all the kids I train. And it's been going pretty well. And 2025 is the year of our growth. And hopefully we go crazy with that more. So we're excited about that.
Yeah. Well, I know you've been crushing it. I know you're going to continue to, and that's huge because, you know, the big takeaway there is like, you know, it's not about I'm sure you know some things with the playbooks of how to train somebody, and you probably are like tip of the spear when it comes to that. But the bigger principle that is way more valuable that will keep that clientele coming back, which are largely paid for by their parents, right? Supported by their parents. They have to believe in you and what the parent, sure, like, you know, having them jump over some hurdles and do some drills and stuff. That's great. But they can get that anywhere. And you may be the best. I probably, and get to know you probably are very, very good at that. You probably are tip of the spear when it comes to that. But the bigger thing that they're going to invest in, no matter how good you are at that, are the character building things you just talked about that their kids are going to learn, you know, along the way through the process. It's that two fathers thing, right? They have their dad, and it's like, what are they, you know, for me, you know, going back to the point of my story, it was like, for me, it was meeting my baseball coach in high school, right? It was like, oh man, I had all those character building lessons, and because people ask me, like, if you didn't have a dad, how did you build that character? It's like, well, I had other dads, like I had other, you know what I mean? I had coaches. For me, it was athletics, right? Just like it was for you, Jared. It was athletics, and like, yeah, I always showed up like, okay, how can I help move this boat together, right? Whether I was mediocre on the team or better. Once I found my sport and it was baseball, I was better, but I still was very much a, you know, okay, if I got to help clean up the dugout afterwards after the game because there's cups everywhere, I'll help. You know what I mean? Like whatever we got to do, right? And my son's playing baseball now, and when we go to his practices, tell the coach I can't commit to being a full-time coach, but I want to help, so I'll be here every time. And my son gets to see a different side of me because I'm very much like the guy picking up all the balls along the backstop. You know what I mean? For the coaches, because the coach, and I want my son to see that, like, even though he knows me how he knows me, which everybody that comes around us kind of looks up to me because of what I've done in business, he gets to see this other side of me where it's like, oh, dad's over there in the dirt picking up the baseballs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's huge.
The character building is so important.
Yeah, it's big, it's huge. Like I think my biggest hiccup as a father was, and this is like where my dad like really did an awesome job, was he separated athletics and dad world. So when our oldest 10 years ago, when he started playing football, I didn't want to coach him. I just wanted him to go play, have fun. And there was only one coach. And if you ever know football, like one coach is not enough. So I got thrown into the mix, and Kelly was very happy that I was coaching. But that first week I told him, I said, hey, look, like when we're in the car, when we're at home, I'm gonna be dad. But when we step on the football field, I'm coach. And like that has to be a dynamic that you understand. And that first year was kind of rough for him and I, because it was like, he's like, you're always yelling at me. You're always yelling at me. And we get in the car, it's like, hey, you did a good job today. And so as he got older, like he started to realize like, oh, this is the dynamic that we have and we're in. And so it's fun for me to kind of like see that and where he's going now. And now I can just be dad because he's in college and I watch him do his thing and I'm very proud and I try not to like cry and all that crap because I might start crying now talking about him. But it's awesome seeing that dynamic and understanding that like if you are going to be a dad coach, like you got to be tough on them, but also like remember like they're just kids too, until they're getting paid professional money. And so remember to be a dad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when you're putting on the coach outfit, like you step into that fully. When you're putting on the dad outfit, you step into that fully, right? And I think it's good for them to see that you have control over that. You know what I mean? And it's a healthy thing, right? Versus like a lot of dudes can't separate. Like they aren't even aware enough to realize that like you're always a drill sergeant, you know? And don't get me wrong. When there's times at home when we're having we have dinner once a week. Or, we have dinner multiple times, obviously multiple times a week. We sit down we make sure at least once a week. It's multiple times a week, but like if it's a busy week and we got a lot going on, we make sure there's always burger night on Tuesdays. Like no matter what, dad's making burgers and we sit down at the table and we have dinner together. And it really is a formality to like be like, no matter what, we come together. And that's the one time where I am like, okay, like, if my daughter's slouching in her chair, I'll be like, hey, sit up. I want to make sure that when she gets a little bit older and she's invited for a dinner, like she's not the kid in the corner slouching in her chair. She knows how to sit up at the table, right? Like, and at the end, it's like, hey, okay, Jackson, you're going to put all the dishes away, Zoe, you're going to wipe the table, right? Like there are some hard and fast things there that you do to give them some rules for life to set them up. But then when we go sit on the couch and relax and watch a movie together, we're a lot more relaxed, right? Turn that off, right? But in that moment, like we're not getting up from this table until everybody's done eating and everybody's, like the conversations are over with, like this is our time together. And then when we do, we have things to do still. We don't just get up and go over there and play video games, right? And those things are super important, man. They're all part of building character, and it's something we need more of in our world. So what you're doing is super, super important. So awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about, I guess the journey to now, before you guys work at Big Little Gyms, you guys had some bottlenecks. I remember, Kelly, having that original conversation with you and all that good stuff. And just to kind of relate with some gym owners out there who might be going through it, what were some of the things you guys were struggling with when you were kind of out there, like when we met each other and we started working together? Obviously things did go a different direction, but what were some of the things at that time?
I think I remember so we started on in the middle of COVID and we were like a June 2020 gym. And the biggest thing that I was struggling with was marketing. And like, I needed to find somebody that was going to help me with marketing. So I remember Will like seeing your ad all over social media. But then the thing that got me is I was like playing a game on my phone and your ad came across in the game. And I was like, this dude's following me everywhere. Like, so I was like, you must be good. So then I set up the call with you. But yeah, the biggest bottleneck, I was like, I just need help marketing. I need help with like Facebook ads. I need all of these things. And so what I learned was like, I really didn't need help with those things. I needed help like running my business better and being able to like learn my numbers and my operations and coach my team better. And those are like all the extra things that came along with it that I didn't even know I was going to get, that ended up really making our business go. So I don't even think we used Facebook ads with you until like last year. Like that's not what we needed. Right. We needed you guys to help us like, with the sales tactics and all of the other things that came along with just the marketing side, the systems and all of that. So
yeah.
System.
Yeah.
You guys got to experience my what do they say? Like you sell them what they want, but give them what they need.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the hook is like market your gym and make money and all that, and then people get on the inside and they realize, oh, actually, this is what it's about, right?
I don't need these Facebook ads. I just need to follow up with my leads better. I need a system. Yeah. So yeah, for sure.
Exactly. That's huge. You guys have had some huge wins since, and I know you guys have continued to, but early on, and obviously 2020 was like things were kind of a hard reset for a lot of gyms. And you guys were at that time, there was a lot of gyms that were, it was great. Those are still some of my best friends in the community and best clients. Not to say we haven't had more recent ones come along too, that are people that really we get along with great and really are getting it. But back then it was like, there were gym owners that were like, choosing to kind of just ride the wave and be like, woe is me. And then there were some that were like, okay, like this has been taken away from us. This has been made difficult for us. We have a chance to, in that moment, we have a little bit of space here to figure out how we want to turn this into a real business. And a lot of gyms took a hard pivot at that moment to it was a defining period for a lot of gyms, because prior to that, if you were a CrossFit gym, things were kind of already on the way down from the peaks of 2016, 2017, and a lot of gyms are still benefiting from the build it and they will come kind of mentality, right? And then 2020 came and a lot of gyms had the opportunity to kind of zoom out and be like, okay, well, what are we doing here? Do we want to proceed forward the same way, or do we want to choose like the more pragmatic route,
Yeah.
to running it?
Yeah,
So.
that definitely. We were closed down for, I don't know what, 3 months, something like that. So it was quite a long period. And so, yeah, we were just like, okay, like what's the next step for us? And how are we going to get there? And then I think we were probably doing around 30 to 35K in revenue at that point. And then within I would say 8 months to a year with you guys, we were into the 50K revenue mark. I think, like you said, we were one of the first 50K gyms. And so it didn't take that long. It really just took us making some small tweaks and like in our systems and follow up and sales. So,
well, all we had to do really was just have an award that was a Thor hammer, and we wave it in front of Jared. He's going to get it right now. For anybody who's listening to the audio visual, Jared has gotten up and he's now walking across wherever he's gone. And I think he's coming back with it. So he's holding up
the best thing about this award was Jared carrying it through the airport after winning it.
He wasn't putting that thing down. Well, I remember when you guys came, I think, Kelly, you came to the first live event we did here in Scottsdale, and at that hotel that we were at that one. And I remember that's where we opened up like the next tier, the mastermind, for the first time. And I remember you being like, I gotta talk to Jared. And I remember like being like a negotiation, because he's like, who's this guy? Who's this guy again? Like, you know what I mean? Like, like you'd had some success, but you hadn't met me in person. And you're like, who's this guy trying to convince my wife to give him more money?
I was very, very detective. Oh, man.
And Jared had already sent me out there as a surprise. Like, like he sent me out there, and then he's like, what? I sent you out there and now you want to join this thing? And but then when he got to come to the next one, that was awesome. Like, he totally got it. Because now we're friends with everybody that's in it, and like we've built such good relationships through it. So I mean, I feel like even I guess that's another point to make, like, about BLG, is like, even though it's about like the systems and stuff like that, it's also about having like these people around you that are in it with you. Like soundboards to bounce things off of. Like, I talked to a lot of guys on a lot of the guys that we've built friendship with on a monthly basis, and just like, did this work for you? How did you guys change this? Like, what do you find that's working? So I think more than anything, like, that actually might have been one of our favorite parts of joining BLG.
Yeah, it's a super important part to growing and finding yourself in business, is like to try to find other people who are walking it with you, in parallel, maybe in like different markets or whatever it might be, and be able to have those conversations. You kind of like, when you have that, like, sure, like having the accountability of a coach, if you guys are messing up, I'll tell you, and you guys need to do it a different way. Or if you guys need some help, you guys always know I'm a phone call away. You kind of, that's valuable. But I would definitely say also having other gym owners that are kind of more or less running the same systems the same way, with a similar set of end goals, which is what BLG is. It just, the rising tide lifts all ships, and you're going to hold yourself accountable, because you're going to be like, this is, you know what I mean? Especially if you're like someone like a Jared or Kelly, like you guys want to win. You guys are winners. You guys like to win. You guys like the recognition of winning the awards. You like that. Jared likes walking around with that Thor hammer, right? That 50K club hammer, right? Like, he's going to do what it takes, because like he wants that recognition, right? Which is a powerful thing. It's the same for me. It's why we have the award. And for anybody who is watching the listening to the audio version, the 50K club award is for gyms that cross the 50K revenue mark on a monthly basis with their gym. And it's a handmade Thor hammer. The guy that makes them for us is out of San Diego, and he's a military veteran, and that's how he makes his money, is making these Thor hammers. So he hand makes them, and we have them handmade for every gym owner, and it has your gym's logo embossed on the end. It has a plaque with your name on it. And so if you're someone who's very motivated by trophies and awards, which I am, I like holding the trophy above my head. It's a real big driver. Recognition is an important thing for all of us, so super cool. So what are some of the, I guess, just for everybody who's wondering, and obviously you're part of BLG here, but what were some of the things, like, in your guys' journey to becoming better business owners, whether it be by way of BLG or just learning it on your own? What were some of the key financial lessons you guys learned, business and financial lessons you guys learned along the way?
Man, I heard this awesome quote. I'm not gonna do it service. It goes something like we rise and fall by the way of our systems, and like that's the biggest thing I learned from BLG is like terrible systems, terrible like processes that goes through everything. Like, it creates chaos and confusion, and like it doesn't make it smooth for anyone, everyone. Like, and you have people doing their own thing. When you have great systems in place, like, and things are working smoothly, like everyone knows their place, everyone knows where it's at. And if something happens through all that, like you could be like, okay, I did A, B, and C, I messed up in D. That's why like everything else will. So let me go back and fix D and go through it. And like I'm saying as someone who's terrible with systems, and that's why Kelly's like somewhat smirking, and so are you. So are you, Will, smirking. Like I'm terrible like under like setting him up, and like Kelly has to go through with me like every single time. She gets so mad doing it. But like it's very, very true. Like the systems and processes go through it. And that's really helped us like not only become 50K members, but like have tried to understand that like if we do want to sell 5-7 years down the road, someone who wants to buy this business is going to be like, oh, this is like very, very turnkey. Like this is very simple. Like I'm going to understand this. I'm going to know it. And so without BLG, like we don't even know if we'll be open, but like this has made this like a process where it's extremely profitable. And like this is what we do. Like we don't, like Kelly doesn't have another job. I don't have another job. Like we have hobbies that we do, but like we don't get paid for those hobbies. But this is what we do. And so having that has been fantastic for us because it's taken a lot of stress off of. I don't have a lot of stress sometimes, but a lot of stress off her shoulders with certain things because it's made things a lot smoother and simpler. And when I mess it up, she just tells me, go back to here and redo it.
Go back and watch Will's video.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I love that you guys said that because that's always like when I make the videos and make all of our content and I'm doing the pro group calls every week and all that stuff. That's like the end game is like I'm always thinking about how can I help the gym owners, these business owners move more into real business ownership versus the self-employed mindset, right? Like self-employed mindset is like, okay, I got to pay the bills this month, so I'm gonna go sell some stuff and then do all the work so I can get the money. Right? That's a really tough existence to know that like each month you're kind of having to reset like that, right? And it really is a mindset thing versus like when you build a business that is full of systems and has, you have leverage, which is like, and leverage, what I mean is like you have people that have positions in your business that want to be there that can do some of these things so you're not having to do all of them yourself, right? You have processes for things like lead generation and driving traffic into those things and making sales and keeping customers longer. All these things are super, super important, and it helps you actually build something of value to where like one day, like you said, hopefully the end game is, because there's really only, hopefully the end game is someone else wants to take it on and the day you don't. Every gym owner is different. But there's really only 3 ways you go out of business, right? Every business goes out of business at some point. The business that was number 1 on the S&P 500 in the stock market 100 years ago, like I think most of those companies aren't even in business, and whoever was number 1 is probably not even in the top 500 anymore, right? So like every business has a life cycle, and that can be viewed as a negative thing, or it's like, no, like just like us as humans, living beings and entities, like we don't live forever either. Yeah. We have a cycle, right? So how do you honor it best? It's like, well, you treat it like an entity and you build something that like hopefully someone else will want to take on longer than your cycle with it, right? If your goal is to move on from it at some point, or if it is to keep it forever, like it's something that like provides for you and provides the lifestyle you guys want and for everybody else involved with it, right? There's only 3 ways you do go out of business. One of them is that first one of, you sell it, right? And hopefully when you sell it, you get something for it, right? Yeah. You don't just sell it for the sum of the parts. Like the one gym that you guys bought, the second one that ended up not really working out in the way you guys wanted it to. Like, the reason why you were able to is because you basically bought it for the sum of the equipment, right? So you're like, whatever, at the end of the day, we can liquidate the thing or sell it to the next guy for the same price, right? We don't really lose anything. That kind of, for that guy, whoever built that, now given it doesn't sound like he built a very good business, but for him to dedicate all those years of his life, for the only upside just to be the little bit of cash flow he made along the way and not get anything on the backside of it, I look at that as that's a failure in business. Yeah. Right? It's like a business's job is not just to provide income for the owners, but it's also to be an asset in and of itself, right? So you guys would you say that's a big mindset shift you guys have had with your business?
Oh yeah, definitely. Really setting those like strong goals of like, where do we want to be like looking forward in the future? I think before we were just like running it to run it. And now we're like, no, we're running this to like be the best so that people are actually approaching us so that we can sell it someday. That's our really big goal, is like, we want to be the best in the business where we're at. So people are reaching out to us and wanting to buy it from us instead of us having to like be out there and, trying to figure out what we're going to do when we're ready to sell.
That's awesome. And it's also like, to hear that is super exciting for me, because that's kind of like, that's what I want too for everybody I work with, right? If there's a mission for me, it's like to have more of these gym owners, small business owners have that mindset shift to thinking bigger and thinking about what they're building, and the impact they can make. So for you guys, just to kind of close this part out, looking back from your experience now, what would you tell a gym owner who's considering working with Big Little Gyms?
Do it. Just stop
Don't,
stop
yeah.
overthinking. Like, I think a lot of people just overthink and overanalyze everything, and they just like dive too deep into it. And I think that you just have to, trust your instinct and knowing that you need help, and just take a leap of faith and do it. Because I mean, I can guarantee you, if you put in the work, it's going to work for you.
Single-handedly the best decision we ever made.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, guys. Let's jump into like the rapid fire round, which is kind of like a fun part to kind of ask you guys a few other questions to get to know you guys even better as we close out the show here today. What would you say is your favorite workout to do together? Kelly's like burpees. Anytime I can make Jared do burpees, right?
I feel like together, like as a partnership, I like working out with Jared anytime that there's a barbell, because he takes most of the reps. I can just kind of hang out. So anytime there's a barbell in it, we're
You're doing
on
power
it.
cleans.
Yeah,
Heavy power cleans.
push presses, yeah, anything like that where he can just fly through it.
Yeah.
What's one book or resource do you think every gym owner or just business owner like should check out?
Because it's so like, I can push it onto my clients. Like the things that I work on there, I can really push into my coaches or my clients and things like that. So I found myself reading that a couple times, and I fall back on it a lot. Like the One Thing also is like a big one that I feel like, if you just, because I think as a business owner, your brain and your thoughts just go to like, I have to do so many things. And so I like the thought of just narrowing in on and figuring out what the thing is that's going to get you to the next step, to do the next step, and to get to the big things. Yeah, those are a couple that I would say.
Yeah. Now this next one I ask, obviously you guys have your focus with athletic performance and CrossFit is a part of it too. But where do you guys see, I like to get the perspective from gym owners that are in the trenches still running their gyms, but where do you think fitness is headed, as a whole? Like, and it may or may not affect your business because you guys have athletic performance, you have like your niches that you guys have become really strong in your market. But for the generalists out there looking for a gym, what do you think it's headed?
I think that we talk about this a lot. I feel like that in the fitness world, it's definitely, with all the like weight loss drugs and stuff like that are out there now, that it's headed into that like really like working with an NP, or like where there's a medical side of things attached to the fitness side, and then the nutrition and all of that. So I think that that's only going to continue, like those type of things are only going to continue to get greater and greater. Now that it's out there, it's not going to stop. So we just have to embrace it and continue to figure out how we can help people and work with other people. So like we started a vitality program where we're partnering with an MP. And so now we have a 6-month program where they can actually work together and we can work with them. So I feel like that's kind of where it's going.
You just dropped a bomb on us there. That's a good little nugget there. So you guys started a vitality program, kind of embracing, where medicine has taken us, right? We have the GLP-1s, we have hormone therapies now. We can get all these labs and blood tests to see where we sit and what we need more of, right? And we can augment the training program with the assistance of these things to help people optimize, right? So tell me more about this.
Yes. We have been working, Jared and I have been working with NP for the last like year, and has just somebody that's been in the gym and started in our community, and we just kind of came together with her and we're like, hey, like we know the benefits that you have on us. We know that GLP-1s are like really big right now, and it's something she also prescribes. Like we would like to partner with you and work together. So we came up with a 6-month vitality program where they're working with her on any, whether it's GLP-1s or the hormones or whatever it is. She does all the blood work, and then we take care of their fitness and their nutrition. So it's just kind of encompassing, like whole holistic health.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, it's huge. I'm a big fan of it. I know this is like a really divisive topic, right? Like there's some gym owners that are like, they're throwing stones at GLP-1s and saying like, it's never going to be easy. Like, and I'm like, I don't know. It looks like some of these people are getting some pretty good results. And other people sometimes it's people that have been fighting with their health and wellness for a long, long time. And I'm sure there's use cases where people just they just want to take the easy road, right? For sure. Right. But most people want to get healthy in the healthiest way possible.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so why should we fight with that? Plus it like does make our jobs easier, right? It makes our jobs a little bit easier if we don't have to fight against their hormones and their whatever is going on in their bodies. That's, because it's like people, these same gym owners that are kind of against, or people in the space that are against it, not just gym owners, but like influencers of the internet that are against these things are like, well, we shouldn't, medical intervention is just cheating and hacking, and we're not actually doing the work. And it's like, And they're also like, we're introducing these foreign things to our body. It's like, well, the foreign things of our society that we're not necessarily built to handle are what are causing the issue,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like people embracing all these modern habits that are not like, there's a reason why their bodies respond so poorly to like all the stuff we've introduced and invented as humans in the last couple of years is because we're not evolved to handle it. So if we're going to create the problem, we should also create the solutions.
For sure.
And here we are, right? And we can fight against that, or we can embrace it. And not even just for the reasons of helping people, but it's like there's there's opportunity, there's money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like if you're in fitness and you're not embracing, like I look at like the GLP-1s, it's kind of like the AI of the fitness world, right? It's like
Mhm.
if you're in business, you're silly if you're not embracing AI right now, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're
Right. You got to be
you know?
adaptable if you want to survive.
Exactly. It's like, why wouldn't you ride the narratives and the waves? As long as you believe, right? As long as you believe in them and believe they are something that can help people, then we should never go against our own moral judgments and values. If something is like conflicting for you, then don't do it. But like, I think it's a good thing that these people can get help. And I do think, like you said, that I would agree that that's, I think, where fitness is headed towards like augmented training, more like a wellness, like a wellness view on it, not just a fitness view on it.
Yeah.
Right. Holistic.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Is there anything in the athletic performance side you see, Jared, that's shifting over there?
Not really shifting. We're in a day and age where everyone's a performance trainer now. And so, my call to action as parents is like almost do your homework a little bit to sit and see, what that person's about. It's not hard to call yourself one, but it's something that I tell parents is just make sure you're seeing and understanding what's going on in your sessions. I'll tell parents come watch our sessions from time to time and see the difference, see the importance of what we do and how we do it. The world of performance training is increasing, and there's more and more gyms going out there, or more and more gyms are doing it. We've had a few BOG members like reach out to me and started, and they're like, a few have increased their prices when I told them that's pretty cheap and you're gonna sell out pretty fast. And they're like, oh, and the first 24, 48 hours, the sessions are all bought up, and they're like, oh, we have to increase our prices. I'm like, yeah, like parents will pay anything for their kids to potentially be who they want to be, who they look up to. So it's fantastic that way.
Oh yeah, people will spend so much money on their kids and making those investments earlier, especially in like those early years too, when like they're those formidable years where they're kind of shaping who they are, right? Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there. Yeah. And I also think, like, to your point there with athletic performance space, and like not as much. I almost think like there's a swing back towards old school with that, which you're definitely more of, right? More principle,
Foundation,
like
the mechanical of it all. 'Cause, I mean, it's almost like anything in a regular gym. If you have bad mechanics, you're not going to be able to kind of grow and develop where you want to need to. And so we a lot of foundational movements, a lot of mechanical things that we fix. And all of a sudden, kids who were fast get even faster. The kids who couldn't even jump on a 10-inch box are now doing 30-inch box jumps. And that's our biggest wins and our big successes because it helps them outside the gym.
It's amazing. If you guys could give one piece of advice to someone considering opening a gym today, what would it be? You can be honest.
Really think
Mm.
about it.
Mm.
No, I feel like
So, I mean, like, man, a piece of advice.
get yourself a business coach first thing.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think that
That was good.
I just think that you have to have that. Like if we would have had that from the start, no matter at what time period you open your gym, you need coaching. Just like you are an athlete and you need coaching. Like even if you've opened businesses before, I think the fitness world is a little different. And so I definitely think getting a business coach is.
Well, Jared and Kelly, your guys' story is proof that with the right systems, mentorship, and vision, gym owners can thrive. And you've not only built a successful business, but you've done it as a couple, expanded multiple locations, and created lasting impact. Learned a lot of lessons along the way with the expansion and the going wide and deep, doing both of your business. And you've created lasting impact through your nonprofit. You guys are doing a lot of good things. The journey is super inspiring, and I know other gym owners are going to take a lot of value away from this conversation. I'm so glad and honored to have you guys on the podcast. For our listeners that want to learn more about Jared or Kelly or follow their journey or inspired by them, or if you guys just want to spy on what they're doing over at Iron Flag Fitness, how can they follow you guys?
Yeah, so they can follow us at on Instagram at Iron Flag Fitness Westmont or at Iron Fit Fam 5. That's our family account. Jared and I have the fairly fit couple is kind of our theme. So yeah, you can find us on Instagram and follow us there.
Awesome. Well, check them out. Give them a follow. You know, these guys deserve all the recognition that they're going to get. And you guys can see the amazing work that they're doing over there. And if you're ready to take your gym to the next level, like Jared and Kelly have, go to biglittlegyms.com and book a free discovery call today. Don't stay stuck. Get the systems, mentorship, and support you guys need to grow. Subscribe on all of our channels. Of course, if you got value out of today's episode, comment, like, share, all that good stuff. It'll help us reach more gym owners like you guys and tell the story of Jared and Kelly to more people out there. Share the love. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Barbell Business Podcast. You won't want to miss it.